So I'm actually posting this video a little bit early today because I have plans, and those plans include starting my new shift at McDonald's. It's not all bad though. I like to think of silver linings, and I heard that you get free nuggets, so that's actually kind of chill. Also, if this video gets 2,000 likes, I'm gonna wear this hat every single video for the rest of I don't know, I guess until Bitcoin hits new all-time highs. So I'm actually kind of excited to wear this every single video. So please, can we get to 2,000 likes maybe? Or actually, you know what? I don't care that much. But let's take a look at what exactly is going on. Obviously, they call crypto, or they call Bitcoin digital gold, but really it's performing like digital poop. Digital SH, well, we don't need to finish it. This is a family-friendly channel, but yeah, it's really not performing well. We're going to be getting into that specifically, but also this I'm very excited to talk about as well, gold. But let's continue on. Every Bitcoin dip doesn't have to mean a bear market. Very true. There's many of them. And in fact, we have seen the smallest percentage-wise pullbacks for Bitcoin, specifically this cycle, than we've seen in other bull markets. Meaning, in other bull markets, the dips, the corrections percentage-wise, we're actually a lot higher than we've been seeing it all on Bitcoin. For example, we go to a weekly chart. I mean, so far from all-time high to here, we're about 16% down. This was a bigger drop here. This was about 30%. We've routinely seen, what was this one? This is a little bit bigger. Okay, that was, all right, let me get it on camera. This is about 32%, 33%. Within bull markets, Bitcoin has dropped 40+% many times in bull markets, meaning it dropped that much and then it continued on to be a giga bull market. So this is still par for the course. The Bitcoin catch-up rally will be massive. We see gold going completely vertical. We see global liquidity increasing, but Bitcoin has not done very well over the past few weeks. I think that's going to be changing, but I don't think it's I think we could see more pain first, right? As I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, specifically this chart. Actually, now we're almost there. I've been saying about we haven't seen a pullback to the 50-week. That was what a lot of my last video was about in a while, since April. And here we are. We're actually very close. On this, it looks like we came to about 103,000 so far. Absolutely, I think we could come down and even wick below 100K before we actually see any pumpiness come back into the market. So, but then also I want to clarify, you might be wondering, okay, well, like when would this turn bearish? I mean, it's a pretty simple answer in my opinion. I would turn bearish on this market if one very simple thing happened. If we came below the last higher low. Instead of setting higher lows, if we started setting lower lows, so basically if Bitcoin went below 75K or 74,580, or yeah, let's just say 75K, then that would be absolutely, in my opinion, bear market mode. And I think, okay, we're cooked. I don't think that's going to happen, especially with all the institutional demand and everything, but that's what would happen. I mean, it's a very simple answer. I'm just trying to give you a number because people might be watching thinking, you know, well, when would you turn bearish? If Bitcoin set a lower low on higher time frames on a weekly chart, then without question, I would say, okay, this is like a bear market. This is bearish. Until then, though, this is just exactly what we've been seeing for the past 3 years, right? As long as we're putting in higher lows, right? Every single time Bitcoin did this or this, or this, people were, people were crying and squealing and screaming that it was all over. It's way too early. Obviously, the price of Bitcoin is performing worse than gold and worse than it should be performing, in my opinion, right now. But we're nowhere close to any bear market territory yet, especially the lowest barometer of this is just, we haven't even broken below the 50-week moving average, which we would need to go below 100K and at least get a weekly close there. Or like break significantly below 100K in a quick fashion. Then that could also signal like some pretty big bearishness. But alas, we haven't seen that yet. So let's not put our horse before the carriage. Let's not put our... I don't know what the saying is. Oh yeah, so this I just thought was like, this looked really good actually. I would definitely eat this for sure. It's got the Bitcoin logo, but this actually looks really good. I would definitely eat that. That looks really good. Also, breaking, Bitcoin projected to crash below 100K this month, according to Polymarket. I think that's very possible. It's a 52% chance right now on Polymarket. Polymarket is extremely good at predicting things because, you know, instead of people just saying nonsense, people actually put their money where their mouth is. I believe Polymarket's like betting odds or like success rate is like above like 90% or something. Like it's pretty accurate. So again, but I've been saying this as well for weeks. I definitely think we could go below 100K. But here we are, Bitcoin at 105K. Nobody wants to buy it. And you bet your tush, you bet your sweet bottom. I can't even tell if that worked. Did that work? Why did that take so long? I gotta fix that. 150K, people are gonna be crying and squealing to buy Bitcoin, but it's gonna be more expensive. But guys, don't worry, this is the last Bitcoin dump before the pump. We all know what comes next. Let him have his moment, and then that's gold. This is gold right here. Bitcoin's waiting in the background. I think it's gonna pump a lot. When? I can't tell you, nobody knows, but I think things are setting up, and I personally think that yeah, we want to shake. Unfortunately, more people need to get shaken out because that's just how the psychology of this has always worked. Bitcoin has seen its fair share of major corrections in every cycle. This cycle, the average bottom forms at about 25% downside from highs, but we've mostly seen them between 20 and 30%. With the speed of the sell-off, he's saying 20 to 20%. This would mean a bottom around $100,000 per coin. I think that's such a big round number, psychological number as well. I think that makes sense. I think it's very possible that is where Bitcoin could head in the very, very short term. You know, today, maybe this weekend, maybe by the time this video is posted. The crypto market sentiment, though, is, and I agree with this, probably worse than the FTX Luna crash, or at least as bad as it was back then. But the craziest part is currently Bitcoin is 100K or above 100K. But yeah, the reason, and I get this comment a lot, guys, I know this, believe me, I'm aware of this. I'm aware that the main reason sentiment is so bad and people are upset is because alts are performing badly, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin honestly is performing pretty well this year. It's just that altcoins are performing so bad. I'm very aware of this. Because I get comments from that about that, like every time I post being like, hey man, did you know it's not Bitcoin that people are upset about, it's alts? It's like, yes, I know. What do you mean? Like, how would I not know that? I feel like everybody that's ever even heard the word, well, no. Most people in the space, actually everybody in the space knows this, but yeah, it's very obvious. Yes, I know altcoins are underperforming. I say it like 5 times a video. But gold is topping, Bitcoin is bottoming. That leads me into this, really, where we see gold is the highest, most overbought it's been on the RSI since 2020. And what happened in 2020? That was the top of gold. About a year later, it did squeak out another all-time high before then, or like I don't think it actually did hit an all-time high. It almost got to an all-time high, then got rejected, and then took a couple years to get back. But this is the most overbought that gold has been in 5 years. Look at this chart as well. Straight up. A lot of people are now talking about rotating from Bitcoin into gold. And guys, that is the classic mistake. You know, nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody can say for sure. But history often repeats, or at least rhymes. And if you're looking at this chart thinking, you know what, I'm selling all my Bitcoin and going into gold right here, I would say the chances of this happening after that are almost 100%. That's just how the universe seems to work. You see something go up like this, a lot of psychology is behind this move, a lot of human emotion is behind this move. You're going to FOMO into this at the highest the RSI in terms of being overbought is in the last 5 years. And you look at something like Bitcoin, which is just doing a lot worse, you sell into that, and then let's say even gold has like a 5% down move or something, you're losing so much value if you do that. But like I said, nobody has a golden ball. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody has a golden ball either. Actually, maybe there's people out there watching that do have golden balls. That's actually kind of sick. But all I'm saying is gold looks extremely overbought. People are rushing. I've seen pictures recently of people like standing in line for in bullion shops, like probably buying gold or something, or maybe selling it actually to take some profit. I don't know. All while gold is on this historic rally. I mean, just in the last 2 months, it's up 30%. So relax. That would be my advice. Relax. Don't get caught getting banged here, because that's exactly what always happens. I've been doing this for about 8 years, and It's never the exact same number-wise, percentage-wise, whatever, but psychologically, it almost always is the exact same. And that's why I think social metrics and just human emotion and psychology is in my opinion, the most fundamental, the most successful and time-proven or time-tested way to measure markets, is because human emotion never changes. And when you see big straight lines like this, that gets people excited. It makes them feel like they're missing out. They rotate into these things. And 9 times out of 10, that marks the top of those things. So Bitcoin is underperforming here. As Warren Buffett said, buy when there's blood in the streets. Buy when others are fearful. People are fearful. They're depressed. They're thinking, oh, this thing's never going to go up. Wouldn't it be kind of ironic if this is where things started going up? Now, like I said, I personally think with Bitcoin at about 105,000 right now, we could still drop below 100K. Or at least bounce around 100K. And that's what I've been saying for the past couple of weeks. Here we are. This is exactly kind of what I've been waiting for in a real sense. Literally, I've deployed, I have like the tiniest amount of my capital left. I deployed more today, but the tiniest I have left is basically ready to be entered into the market around 100K. I wish I would have saved all of it, but again, nobody can predict exactly when the market's going to crash. So I'm not going to like beat myself up over that. But here we go. Like, look at this. Every single time Bitcoin has come down to this 50 week, do you know how many people were crying and squealing like little babies? And then it bounced. Oh, I do have to remind myself as well. If you want to buy Bitcoin or altcoins or trade, sign up with FEMX below. There's also an extra $3,000 deposit bonus because of the current market conditions. Is a little bonus for people if you want to sign up with that below. FEMX was available when the market crashed a couple days ago. That's why I was able to get ADA for under 30 cents, and I got Bitcoin actually higher than it is now, but I got cheap alts because the alts really took dumps big time. But yeah, it's been a great exchange that I've been using. But anyway, what's the stock market doing? Last couple days been kind of sideways as well. The US dollar's not really rallying. And yeah, this is Cardano. Look at that massive drop. A lot of smaller alts did this a couple days ago when the alts crashed. But specifically, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is now below its 100-day moving average. Things are looking quite scary and people are panicking. And just in my experience, this is when you don't want to panic. But with that being said, I still think we could go lower in the short term. I said that like my whole last video was kind of about that when Bitcoin was like 112 to 115K or something. It's just a scenario that, right, you have to be expecting at this point that there's a lot of people that are probably entering leverage longs like every time Bitcoin drops because they're trying to catch the exact bottom and then make it all back in one massive trade. And honestly, you could. I mean, it could happen at any moment. But I just tend to think that big psychological number of 100K is going to be more of that signal that people are really waiting for. And I just think it's possible we visit it, right? I don't think that, honestly, I think most people watching the video honestly probably agree. If I would have to guess, a lot of people are expecting, okay, we're probably going to at least go to 100K. But I think the bigger story here is that, yes, gold has been just explosively up. Today, right now, actually, it's down about 2% on the day. But I just think that gold is likely either topping right now or it's about to top out very soon. You can't really have sustainable things like this. We all know this, right? Whether it's Bitcoin or the stock market or gold, you can't have things just go straight vertical. And gold was already doing extremely well. Look at this. And now we've just gone straight vertical. So that to me is a big warning sign. And I think a lot of capital will soon rotate into Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin will have a moment where it does this. And then you also want to sell and get out of, or at least take some profit or something. I mean, honestly, with altcoins, with Bitcoin, I think of that more as like a long-term hold that I don't really trade out of anyway. But hey, say you make a lot of money with Bitcoin over the next few months, feel free to take some out and go get some ice cream or like buy yourself a nice watch. I mean, actually watches do hold value. So that's actually not bad advice, I guess. Go buy yourself a nice, some hot dogs or something. I don't know, whatever you want to buy. But yeah, this looks big. I'm expecting that, yeah, as I've been saying for the last couple of videos, 100K is absolutely on the table. Now we are basically at the 50-week moving average.
This is where things get big. This is where decisions are made. This is crunch time. And yeah, get signed up with FEMX Below if you want to buy Bitcoin, altcoins, or trade. BYBIT or BITUNIX. Without further ado.